Hey, what's up? I'm Basil Barrington, and I am back. And today I want to talk about these two turntables I have in front of me. These are the brand new Reloop RP-5000 MK4, right? So I think that's really interesting that this is the fourth version of this turntable. This is the entry level turntable, right? If you look at the big boy Reloop turntable, that's the RP-7000 MK2, and that's just the second version. This is the fourth version, so that means something. That means these turntables are probably selling well. Again, entry level turntable. This is not really a review. I'm just giving you like what I really think about these turntables because I had them for about 2 weeks. So, first thing I want you to take a look at is this here, and I think this is really important. You just take that off. Now, if you just look at the plate here, the platter, there is no insulation here. So you may hear some feedback. I mean, you can just hear a little echo there, right? But I want to tell you why that's not really significant. And just give me a second here. The other thing you should know is the arm assembly right here. This generally on sort of pro level turntables, this turns so you can adjust the height of the tone arm. But this is bolted on. You can't turn it. You do have anti-skate and everything else. Obviously, you can adjust your weights and everything. But this doesn't turn. And I was like trying to turn it. I was like, oh, maybe it's just too tough. And I was like, no, I probably can really use my strength to try to turn it, but I would break it. So that doesn't pull up at all. That doesn't turn at all, right? The other thing is sort of like the light here. It's, it's a little clicky, a little inexpensive feeling, but this is a turntable that, again, this is an entry-level turntable. Pitch control, generally with a lot of pitch controls and with these new turntables, regardless of what level, there's a lot of drift, when you're actually trying to set the tempo. And these have drift as well, but not as much. I wasn't I wasn't super annoyed with the drifting of this turntable. So that's pretty cool. You can change the pitch range 16%, 50%. So for you sort of like scratch DJs, that may really work for you. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so the turntable, it's made okay. And again, this is an entry level turntable. I have like two types of cartridges on here because for some reason one didn't work on one side, So I was like, well, it at least works on this side, right? So I have two different types of cartridges on here. So as I'm using this turntable here, like I said, I've had this for about 2 weeks. So I started using it first with vinyl. So I was doing a vinyl set basically, using this beautiful DJ mixer by Allen and Heath, the Zone 96. I'm gonna talk about this in a totally different video because this mixer is, whoo, we gotta get to that. So I'm doing a vinyl set and it was a Friday night. So, if I'm in my sort of DJ studio like I am now, and I'm sort of doing a DJ set, a lot of stuff is flowing. I'm drinking, I'm doing everything else, and I'm just having a really good time. And so again, I was doing my vinyl set, and I have to tell you, I had a good time DJing on these turntables with vinyl, right? Again, the pitch does drift a little bit, but that's okay. Once you set it, then you can start playing, with the platter just to sort of slow it down or speed it up, so it really works well. And the other thing is this here. So I'm doing a vinyl set. So I completed my vinyl set and I was like, well, wait a minute. I wanted to see if this mixer, the Zone 96, was compatible with other DJ softwares. And it is obviously with Tractor, with Serato, with the record box, things of that nature. So I hooked it up to Tractor and I was using the DVS sort of feature. In the DVS feature, I really had a good time spinning on these turntables in DVS mode, Tractor DVS mode. Great time, you know? And, I was noticing like sometimes if I use sync on turntables, you still have to play with it. This is like deck sync. This isn't like DAW sync. So, whatever people say about, oh, you use sync as it's deck sync. You still have to like nudge left and right, right? This isn't like a sync from like Ableton or something, right? So turned off the sync and then I was playing with the pitch again. Pitch again, I was completely surprised at the lack of drift there is on this turntable. There is drift. Don't get it twisted. There is drift. But it wasn't as much drift as I thought it would be, being that this is an entry-level turntable. And I was completely surprised. Had a great time DJing on the Reloop RP-5000 MK4s on with the DVS feature on Tractor. I also used it with Serato. Serato is really good. I actually like the with Serato with DVS mode, the pitch shows up a lot better on the software, whereas with Tractor, there's like a delay. You really have to I think it's like I don't know, like a 5 or 10 second delay, right? But with Serato, it works out really well. So this turntable right here, the RP-5000 MK4 is $500, $499. But the RP-7000 that's the MK2, is $680. So that's, you're just talking about like an extra $200, right? But I will say this, and I keep saying that, yes, this is an entry-level turntable, but you have to ask yourself this here, right? So you're gonna buy a set of turntables as a DJ. What are you doing with them? Are you actually taking your turntables out to do gigs? Even if you're like a mobile DJ, a wedding DJ, you're not taking turntables out, right? It's rare that DJs actually take their own turntables out. You go someplace and the turntables are there, right? So an entry-level turntable like this, set up in your studio, insulated up on the bottom, it's gonna be fine. And like I said, you may not be able to adjust the tone arm, but for an entry-level turntable, these are actually pretty good. Like I said, if someone was like, hey, I want a pair of turntables, you don't necessarily have to go for like, the RP-7000 MK2 or like the Technics MK7 or even the Pioneer PLX 1000. You can start here because these turntables will get you to where you're going. You may not quite understand arm adjustment. So Reloop sort of takes that away from you. Like, hey, you know what? You can deal with anti-skate. You can deal with like the adjusting the weight on the tone arm and, just like 78, 45, 33 in your pitch range, in your tempo. And again, they have lights and everything works pretty well. $500 out the door. Not bad. You got a pair of turntables for $1,000 and you're starting your journey as a DJ. Would I recommend this turntable? I would recommend this turntable. I would recommend this turntable because it's actually a really great entry-level turntable. Like again, you have everything here, everything works. I would just really get some great cartridges so everything can sound excellent. Even with these cartridges and the turntables connected to the 96, the 96 has so much headroom, you got to really crank it up for it, this to like really perform like excellently, right? So the turntables connected to this powerful mixer actually sound really well. DVS sound excellent. And I can't say anything bad about this turntable. Again, I would recommend this turntable if someone came to me and said, hey, I'm looking for an entry-level turntable. I don't want to spend over $1,000, right? Well, you're going to spend over $1,000 with tax, but I don't want to spend over $1,000. I would say, hey, go with the Reloop RP-5000 MK4. Again, the MK4, this is the 4th version. So this turntable has been selling on some level for it to be like the 4th version. So I really like that. Construction is solid. And yeah, I can't say anything bad about this turntable because we know who it's for and we know what it's for. And it's perfect for that purpose, right? It's the entry-level turntable. If you want to get your hands wet, scratching. I don't do a lot of scratching. I'm a mixed DJ. So I beat match all the time. But they still feel like really great. It's kind of cool that, Reloop always gives you a mat. However, I will say this, if I did have a negative, it's the fact that Reloop doesn't have a dust cover with their turntables, right? You buy a Technique, they come with dust covers. My RP 7000 MK2s, I had to buy a dust cover, right? So I think when you sell turntables, you should have a dust cover. A dust cover should be included. You know, there was, I forget which company it was, but one company, when you bought their turntables, they gave you like just a needle, a cartridge, right? It wasn't great, but you know, they at least gave you one like, hey, you can get started, check it out, and then you can go buy, you know, possibly some better like needles for your turntables. But yeah, I would say other than like the dust cover, because I mean, I'm using like a, you know, a towel to like cover them at night. Because I don't have a dust cover, you know. So I think a dust cover should come with these turntables, you know, or at least like, yeah, it should be in a box, the dust cover. So other than not having a dust cover, right, and also these being entry level turntables, I think this is a great value. And again, entry level, the turntables, they actually sound great. I mean, I didn't hear a lot of feedback. I'm not going to play any music here because I don't want to get demonetized, but I played, I used these turntables on a vinyl set, and then I used these turntables in DVS mode. And both times I had a great time. With the vinyl set, I was kind of surprised again at the lack of drift, or at least the lack of a lot of drift on the pitch. I keep talking about that because that's it's kind of impressive that, you know, as I'm, you know, adjusting my pitch, you know, there wasn't a lot of drift. I can like just get it in a central location, you know, then sort of center it there and then start playing with the platter to get it to where I want to. So once I set it to where I thought it was, then I'm playing with my platter a little bit, almost like you do with like a controller and jog wheels. So that's pretty impressive to me. So what do I think about these turntables? Again, for entry-level turntables, they're pretty impressive. A pair is $1,000 out the box. Go get them at Sweetwater, you know, Guitar Center, wherever you shop for your DJ gear. Well, there you have it. Until next time, peace.